everybody tonight. It is so good to be here in this church. You know, I was here on Sunday at worship service, and it felt really good to be in this church. And so I had a really good worship experience, and I praise you for that type of worship in my own life. So we are here tonight to talk about 10-1, though, and that's a very important subject for an important issue for the city of Virginia Beach. It is probably one of the most important issues we've faced in a long time. And so it harkens back to, it does, whether we think so or not, it harkens back to all the fight that we experienced in the 60s. And this has a lot to do with that fight. So tonight we have Renee Parker, who's coming to welcome us tonight. Renee lives in this district, and it is, you know, one thing about Renee, she sat in front of me on Sunday at the church service, and I'm like, I'm not a Baptist, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing, and she really focused me in the right direction, and many times I had questions. I'm Episcopalian, and the worship service is a little bit different, but that's fine. We're here for the same reason. But she really made me feel so good, and she's going to do the same thing tonight with you. So come and welcome us.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Those of you that are Rehoboth members, and those of you that are community members, and those of you that are just working in the city of Virginia Beach, I'd like to take this time to say welcome. But I also would like to take this time to tell you a little bit about where you sit. You not only sit in the city of Virginia Beach, but you sit in a historic community of Virginia Beach. SeaTac has been here a long time. And I was raised in this area. I attended a couple of schools because we moved around. We started in the apartment building on this street that was owned by the Sparrows. It was 2 stories. It was a red apartment building. And right out of the window, and I was terrified to death every night, and I put my covers over my head because I could see the funeral home that and I don't know why they called him Mr. Spooky Harrison, but they called him Spooky Harrison, and to me as a little girl, that meant ooh. So at night, I would put my covers over my head because I could see the light at the funeral home from my bedroom window. Then we moved over to 8th Street, and I stayed with my aunt, and I went to Cook Elementary. I left Cook when our house was finished on Carver Avenue. And I say Carver Avenue because we were there first. Friendship came later. Carver Avenue was the bedrock of that community, that street that led right from Mount Olive Baptist Church. And I walked past Mount Olive to come down the street, walk past Mr. Sparrow's store, sometimes go in and get me a little treat before I would come here to Rehoboth for my piano lessons that were taught by Miss Chase. So I remember a lot about this community, and one thing I remember about this community was we were all very close. We all knew one another. Our parents knew each other, so that meant you always had to be on your best behavior. There was no such foolishness as, don't say anything to my child. That's my child. Mind your business. No. I knew everybody on my street, all of the ladies, the candy lady, Miss Sarah Jane, that was at the end of the street. And then it moved to my aunt, Miss Bloomer Parker, up the street. Then it moved a little further to Miss Charlotte, next door to me, and then across the street to Miss Snoot, as we called her, but it was Miss Joyce Rouse. So we had several candy ladies, and you respected those candy ladies, and you did what you were supposed to. Had plenty of candy. On my way to school in the morning, in my little bag, little brown bag, I got it from the lady on the corner. So I just say all of this to say, we don't have to lose this legacy. SeaTac is a place that everybody wants to move. I don't know about you, but I get phone calls and cards in the mail every other day about somebody wanting to buy my house. It's not for sale. My dad built that home, and he left us that legacy, and now I am living in the legacy that he left for us, and I'm enjoying it. So I just say to you, if your roots are here in SeaTac, please don't squander them off. Don't sell them off. Don't give them away. Be thankful and proud of who we are and what we've accomplished over the years. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Renee. I told you she'd make you feel welcome, and she did, didn't she? So thankful for that. You know, I do want to recognize someone tonight that's been very special. That's been very special to 10-1 and the work that we're doing here in the city. There's a young man named Roger in the audience today, and Roger has knocked on thousands of doors in his own way, taking our flyers and our cards now, inviting people to vote yes on 10-1. And I want to take this opportunity to uplift Roger tonight and to thank him for all the work that he's done up to this point. Roger, would you come forward, please? You know, Roger's probably walked 1,000 miles already in this city, and it's just impressive to have someone that committed to this issue. You know, when we face disabilities and things like that, too many of us think that we can no longer do the things that we need to do, but we can, and Roger's a good example of that. We thank him so much.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. I did about 300 fads, notes on the door of every house, and I did about 300 of them. And last year, I put 100 signs together at the campaign office in Virginia Beach. And also, that I'm very thankful for doing that. And also, I'm proud of what I do a good job, and I'm really proud. And I thank y'all for helping me along. Appreciate y'all. Bye. Thank you.
Roger, we thank you so much, and wanted to also note that Roger had a birthday last Friday, the first day of early voting. Great day to celebrate a birthday, and we are proud of Roger. Thank you so much. Okay, now I have the opportunity to present another person that I'm proud to know. And thank you, Roger. It is, you know, I've been here a little bit more than 3 years, and I've had the opportunity to meet some great people. You know, Georgia Allen, Bernita Richardson, Gary McCollum, you know, and I can't name all these people that I've had the blessing, the opportunity to meet and work with. It's been a great experience. But one of my most favorite people in this community so far is someone that I'm really close to in friendship and work as well. And that man is moderating for us tonight. And I appreciate so much this man for being the force in this community that he is. So I recognize Ken Sutton as our moderator tonight.
Thanks very much, Eddie. Renee, you're on my list of people I don't follow anymore. If y'all got a list like that, you know, they tell you you're going to make some remarks, and then they put a ringer in front of you. That's the ringer tonight. Wow, SeaTac. I used to teach down the street at the SeaTac Elementary School, the one that was bought, paid for by the hard labor and sweat of the people in this community. And I guess if you're from around here, maybe you know, we call it the Law Enforcement Academy now. And Renee, you talked about people calling you up about your house. Well, see, those men back in the 50s and women, they put a codicil, I think it called legally, that when the city was through, when SeaTac Elementary School was going to be replaced, the building had to be used for educational purposes, because there was developers licking their chops at that piece of land. They still, and they can't touch it, because those were some smart men and women back then to put that codicil in. Any lawyers in here? Am I using the right word? Codicil? It sounding good. Again, my name is Ken Sutton. I'm a retired Navy guy. I taught at I did teach at SeaTac. I'm sorry. I got degrees in physics and chemistry. I got shanghaied into teaching second grade at SeaTac by the principal. She said it was just needed me for a week. Then the teacher went on some leave for another 3 months. I have never had an education course in my life. Physics, chemistry, Russian, calculus, all that junk. So me and the second graders, we got along pretty good. They let me know they were in charge. If you've ever been in a classroom with little people, you know what I am talking about, okay? And little people, children, little people. I'm sorry, I'm just a little overwhelmed at looking out here, thinking about when I first came to this area and came down to SeaTac. Going down Virginia Beach Boulevard, which was black at night. When you got from Bird Neck down the general roof, there was no lights, none. But there was a shot house. I'm sorry. I said I was a sailor. What can I say? And I got stationed at Dam Neck my first time coming here. And I just knew I had kind of stepped back in time a little bit when I came down here. I was raised in Chicago and joined the Navy when I was 16. They found out 5 days later, sent me home, and then I joined legally a few months later. Of course, that physical and papers from when I turned 16, they're still in my service record. I thought they should have got rid of that. Eddie's coming up. He does. I'm sorry. I said it's my third arm. My background is did 2 tours in Vietnam a long time ago. I'm 75. Dog it, there's that. I've had a few times of people trying to kill me. Hey, in Chicago, I got shot at more in Chicago than I did the first 6 months in Vietnam. Come on, give me a break. I felt things were even when I was in Vietnam, very even. Gotta watch those. Somebody don't keep track of them. But the thing about it is that I survived all that. One of the things that I'm very proud of is that I have a picture with me and Reverend Jesse Jackson when I was at teaching at Tallwood. And okay, there we go. It's coming back. Switch it out. He said, switch it out, my man. And I was 15 years old, and we had the same problems, not as bad as y'all did down here, but we had our little share of problems. And the stores in Chicago, all the stores weren't equal. They had nice products, fresh food in some other neighborhoods. In our neighborhoods, the prices were higher and the quality was lower. I don't think that's a good sales technique, but it worked for them. So I worked with Operation Push and got to meet Reverend Jackson. And when he came to Tallwood, they arranged for him to sign the helmet, my father's helmet liner from World War II that I wore on the picket lines so the big bad Chicago police didn't hit me in the head. I still got that helmet, sits in my living room. Anyway, what I learned from the Navy was accountability. I became a young petty officer, and I might have told the story where I was doing some maintenance work. A young officer came up, questioned my integrity on whether or not I had done the work. I went and looked at my little certificate that I had gotten. The President of the United States takes great pride and confidence in your abilities. Wait a minute, who are you talking to? I did the work. Let me go tell my chief. I went and told Chief Julian. Some people's names you remember, even though it's been over 55 years. Chief Julian had a counseling session with the young ensign. And the young ensign came back and apologized to me and said it would never happen again. Accountability, integrity, they go hand in hand. And that's what we're trying to do with our politicians. We want to make sure we hold them accountable. We want to make sure that they do the right thing for us. Okay? We've got a lot of different ideas floating around the country right now, but it all comes back to doing the right thing for your constituents. And you hold them accountable by doing what you're doing right now. They know how many people are sitting here in this meeting right now. Trust me. About 10 minutes ago, somebody somewhere got a phone call saying, there's about 60 people at that church. Which one? Okay. And that keeps them on their toes. And it's our job as citizens to keep our elected officials on their toes. You have to go to the city hall. You have to go to the council meetings. You have to go to the school board meetings. You have to be on the planning commission. Is anybody in here on the planning commission? Sometimes you're surprised there's people on the planning. The city has all types of commissions that you as a citizen can be on. No requirements. You just want to help your city out, and you want to be in the right place at the right time to stop some skullduggery going on. I'm going to let Ms. Georgia tell you about skullduggery. She knows quite a bit about skullduggery and people getting money that they shouldn't get. Anyway, I'm just going to say I appreciate that. And before I go any further, I'm going to, if you don't mind, Ms. Felton, I'd like to recognize you. Okay, she just did like, there you go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And she's your school board person, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and just say I've been a college professor, been a teacher, advisor. I teach anyone that comes into contact to me, young or old, and most of them will keep this, and I told them it's copyrighted if they try to use it. Paperwork, accountability, and follow through. Those three things will keep you straight in your life for as long as you live. Because if you don't do any of them, nothing's going to happen. Great idea. Did you file the paperwork? Did you check to make sure the paperwork got to where it was going to? Did you call up and follow up and say, hey, where's my paperwork? So school board meetings, council meetings, planning commissions, and oh yeah, vote yes on 10-1. With that lead in, I'm going to have Ms. Georgia Allen. Well, thank you. See, you know that and I don't. Will the president of SeaTac City League stand up? Sir, could I have your name? Because, I mean, Donnie Graydon? Gregory. Mr. Donnie Gregory, and what will we be without our Civic League, sir? You're the backbone of our interaction with our politicians. Thank you. All right, Georgia. Ms. Georgia Allen, who is a longtime activist and a fighter. That's about what I can say. You want mine or you want?
Good evening, everyone. Each one of these sessions are always different. So I never know what they're going to ask me to do, okay? So I'm going to do what I want to do tonight, since he didn't ask me specifically to do any particular thing. So with that being said, yes, I am Georgia F. Allen. I've been in the community since 1954. Yes, 1954. Grew up here in the city of Virginia Beach. Did not realize that Virginia Beach had an illegal voting system. So as I grew up, my wonderful sister invited me to be a member of the NAACP. She lasted 90 days, and I have been with the NAACP ever since. And so that kind of got the fight in my bones, in my bloodstream, in my system, which ultimately, because the city of Virginia Beach did not believe in upholding the law of the land, we ultimately had to challenge that. So a little bit of history of why we are here tonight. We're here tonight because the judge decided that the 10-1 voting system was the only legal constitutional system in our city. So that other system that you see out, all those little cars you see all over the town, that is not a legal system. That is not a constitutional system. It does not meet the qualifications, it doesn't cut the mustard. So back in 1994, the citizens decided that they were going to vote for a referendum to change the voting system here in Virginia Beach. They won the referendum. However, there were state legislators that recognized that they would not have enough power. So they went back to the General Assembly, they rewrote the referendum, put it back on the ballot, and what the citizens originally voted in favor of, the second time around they voted against it because of the wording was just very convoluted. Similar to what we see on the ballot this year. Okay, so then later on in 1994, a young lady by the name of Latasha Holloway was having some difficulties in the school system. She had some children in the school system, and they were mistreating her children. So she went to her school board member, could not get any assistance. She went to her so-called city council member, could not get any assistance. And ultimately, she decided to sue the city of Virginia Beach for their illegal voting system. That was 2017. In 2018, I joined the lawsuit because it gave it more standing, because I had run in the city of Virginia Beach twice and had not been able to get elected to office, which proved that people don't always have the true opportunity based upon how districts are drawn to have a fair opportunity to elect candidates of their choice. So, with that being said, the reason why we fought so hard was not so much because of her children. That was one of the things. But we also recognized that we were living in a time in 2017, 2018, where we have been voting in this system for a very long time, and we weren't able to consistently elect people of our choice. So with the change in the voting system to a 10-1 system versus a 7-3-1, it gave us opportunity districts. Now, does that mean we're going to always get our choice? No, but it gives us an opportunity, more of an opportunity to elect candidates of our choice. So the purpose of the 10-1 voting system is to ensure that wherever you live in the city of Virginia Beach, you have an opportunity to elect the candidate of your choice. I'm in District 4, and at one point in time, it was called Bayside. We had a candidate to run in that district, got elected the first time around. She was African American. The second time she ran, she did not get elected, even though the district favored her. The rest of the city, because of the way the districts were drawn, they voted against her. So therefore, her district was not able to get the candidate of their choice. This is critical. This is very critical. If you have a 10-1 voting system, that means every district has the opportunity to elect the candidate of their choice. And that is why we're fighting so hard and trying to educate people all around the whole city. We're holding these town halls in all 10 districts so that everybody will get the same information. And with that being said, I'm going to pass the mic over to Riley, who's going to talk about looking at it from an education standpoint and the impact that a 10-1 system will have versus our previous at-large voting system.
Thank you, Georgia. So my name, again, is Riley Goldsmith. I am a teacher in the school district, but I'm also a proud member of the Virginia Beach Education Association and the director of the Political Action Committee. And I spend a lot of time in classrooms and dealing with students in and out, all sorts of problems, actually. So I know my way around the schools and our students and the school district and even a little bit of city council as well. And one of the things that I've learned just growing up is, well, I'm sure I don't have to tell anyone in here, but I'm sure it's a universal experience at this point. We've all turned on our TVs and our phones at election season, and we look at who's running for office, and we all go, man, it's the same guys again and again and again and again, and we always think, I wish someone was running that represented me, that I felt had the best interests in my community, in my schools, my students, me personally. And I think we're all pretty tired of just going, close enough, they'll do. And we really, really, really want somebody that represents us and our values. And unfortunately, the 731 system that is being advocated in all the signs around town don't allow for that. The 3, meaning at-large seats, which means every single person in the city can vote for that position, and then the 1 being the mayor, that allows potentially up to 5 people in control of the city of Virginia Beach to be voting against the interest of your representative that's supposed to look out for your community. And I don't think that's very fair, and I don't think it's very representative of my community and the people that live there. However, on the other hand, and the good news is that 10-1 ensures that you have representation for your community. Specifically, because they have to live in your community. They have to go to work on city council or school board. They have to make changes to our lives, choose what to get rid of, choose what to pick up. And they have to go home and they have to face us. They go to the same restaurants as us. They go to the same grocery store. Their kids go to the same school that our students go to. They truly do know what is going on. They know what roads to avoid when it floods. They know when to avoid this part of town because of rush hour. They know all of the problems and the benefits of your specific community because it's all very different. I wouldn't expect anyone in Red Mill, Sandbridge, or Pungo to know anything that goes on the ocean front or Kempsville, for example. It's hard, and I don't think any of us could expect each other to do that because we are in our little area with our people. We know what we need. And speaking of schools, specifically from the education perspective, it's important to make sure that your students and you as parents have representation that speaks for you on the school board and city council. But the school board specifically with schools, because they are the ultimate, arbiters of what comes, what goes, and what happens for your student. And having that fair representation, that district-based representation under 10-1, ensures that your student has that champion on the school board that can go, my students at this school need this, my parents need this from us. We can make sure that we can get it for our schools. Because every school is different. One might have an HVAC system that's getting a little too old, it's getting a little humid and hot. They might need new athletic facilities so that their students can get an upper hand and even potentially get scholarships for school. They might even need to purchase a new set of technology that will give our students an edge in the workforce, give them a benefit, a leg up on everyone else. And having fair representation on school board and someone that will speak for our parents and for our students and make sure that they get the best that they deserve and they need, 10-1 is the system that allows us to carry our voice much further and ensure that we have fair representation on city council and school board. And that's why I support 10-1.
Thank you.
I did it right. Thank you, Raleigh. Thank you, Georgia. Right now, if you have any questions, I'd like you to stand up and just identify yourself and just give us what your question is. The mic is coming around to you right now. And Pat, I think she's coming over to you, sir. It's almost there. It's on its way. It's there.
Thank you. My name is Bill Johnson Miles. I live in District 2 down in Sandbridge. How come I see all these yes on 10-1 signs, and I've read a lot of literature and so forth, but what I don't see is I don't see anybody really addressing the lies that the other side is putting out there. I mean, they're flat out lying. And I would like to see somebody attack those lies, go after them for their lies. How come we're not doing that more?
Well, I believe that it's being done. It's not being done as aggressively as you might like to see right now. But sometimes, Gary, would you like to take that? Thank you. Gary's better at this part than I am.
I would say, I didn't catch your name, but thank you for that question. Because that's probably the question I get asked most, what you just asked. All these signs. The first thing I say is, well, let's make sure we understand why the signs are there. You have very well-off, rich oceanfront businesses, developers, who want a 731 system so that they can basically control city council and the school board. So that's why it's happening. If they can get the 3 at large and the mayor, that's 4 votes. All you need is 6 to have a majority to continue to take our taxpayer dollars for their pet projects and use our tax dollars as their own piggy bank. So that's why they're doing it. But I think while they have a lot of money, we have the people. And what you just said, you need to go out, and all of us need to go out and tell our neighbors. Tell our neighbors. If you're on social media, go out on social media and tell them exactly what you're hearing tonight, that a 10-1 system is accountable, it's fair, it gives the power to the people and not to moneyed interests at the oceanfront. You ever wonder why certain neighborhoods look better than others? Because of what Georgia just said, because we had this system in place for so long. That's why. And that's what they want to do, is to go back. I don't know if I can say it right now, but one of the words that we've been talking about is cronyism. Because that's what it is. I wouldn't say it's corruption, because some of the stuff they're doing, it might be legal, but it's not right. It's not right. We're all citizens. We all pay taxes. And why should you be paying taxes and the majority of that money goes into one neighborhood? That's what's happening. And so we have to tell the story. Go out and tell the story that we do not want 731. A 731 system takes us backwards. The 10-1 system, which we've had since the last 2 elections, we need to keep it. Just as Georgia said, we have opportunity districts that we can actually win. Jennifer Rouse is on city council today because of 10-1. In the old system, she would have lost because her opponent outspent her 9-1. When you have to run citywide as a politician, it takes a lot of money to do that. She raised a fraction of what her opponent did, and she won because it was in that district. So thank you for that question.
Is anyone else? Please raise your hand and we'll bring a mic to you for a question. There you go.
I don't have a question, but I have more of a comment, if that's okay.
The comments were coming.
So one of the things I always say is if you have an example of what the difference is, that always helps. So when I first moved here and being in CTAC, our representative was John Earn, and he could care less about CTAC. Couldn't get him to come to a meeting, couldn't get him to respond to anything, okay? And we couldn't vote him out because the entire city voted for him. Even with all the controversy in the news for domestic violence, in the news for the monies being spent down at Cavalier, the conflict of interest and all of that, still could not vote him out. Under the 10-1, we got, before Worth, there was somebody else, I can't think of his name right now, but we got 2 people who represent us. So I'll give you an example. I'm also on Nextdoor, and there was an issue up near Cook where there was a grate, and it was like a 2-foot drop. It was big enough that a child or small dog could fall through. And the person who put it on there said they had been calling the city, and all they did was come out and put a cone out there. And they had been calling and all this. So when I saw that, I was like, well, that's not right. So I screenshot it, did an email, sent it to Worth, sent it to the city manager. I said, y'all need to do something about this. Within 24 hours, it was fixed. Not because I did anything, but because they are now accountable to us because we're in this district. And that makes a difference. And that's important. And so I agree, I'm yes on 10-1, but I just wanted to give an example of how it makes a difference having that person that, I ain't gonna talk about my school board person because we're not happy about him, but okay.
Okay, who's next?
Thank you, sir.
I was gonna go too, but you go first.
Oh, no, we're not gonna fight.
We're both second grade teachers, so you know, we understand.
I'm not gonna fight. Good evening, everyone. I'm very new to this. Virginia is not my home, but I've been living here for quite a while. And I first of all, I want to thank my sister Murray over here for inviting me to come tonight. And education is the best thing. I'll say it that way, because I did not have enough information to understand the 10-1. My first hearing of the 731 is tonight. Yes, you see it, but you don't know what it is. So if you don't know what something is, it's very difficult to vote for or against. But I would like to know, who is the representative for District 1? Is that person here?
Hutchison.
Yeah, I know that. I know you can look
Yeah.
online and find it because the lady was helpful enough to show me the district, whatever. But I live over in Timberlake, and I have not heard anything. There's no rumbles. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where District 1 stands. So that, again, is another odd of what things are doing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who to actually call. Yeah, I can get that name, but why hasn't this person contacted District 1 people? It's nothing going on over there that I know of. I said that I know of.
Real quick, the lawsuit is still pending.
Okay.
So in essence, even though you see some of our council members running around and speaking to this issue, they probably should be quiet until the lawsuit has run its course. Okay. We've seen people on council that say they are in favor of the opposite. Okay. However, 10-1 is the only legal system. Now, they can speak to you about it, but part of the reason why we're doing this, with the town halls is so that we can provide the information in a nonpartisan way to the people. The other thing is with these cards, you can scan the QR code, and you can send it as far and wide as you want to. You can take photos of this, send it as far and wide as you want to, based upon the information you have received tonight. If you are now in favor of 10-1, let them know. We need you, all of you, to put the message out, because the best message is word of mouth from the people that you know.
Okay.
That is the best message ever.
I agree. I agree. It's just that I was concerned because, you know, of the lack of what I was seeing. And I thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Ken, can I add to that really quick, Ken?
I didn't know about that.
You go ahead.
Rob,
So District 1, City Councilman Hutchinson, he is in favor of 10-1. He actually attended our very, very first town hall.
He was at our first
He was at the first one, so District 1 Representative Hutchinson is in support.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kelvin Murray. My question is the referendum. If it passes or if it doesn't pass in favor of the 10-1 or in favor of the 7-3-1, what effect does that have on the judge's ruling, and what effect would it have on the city charter?
Okay, I'm going to speak to the city charter first, because here again is the confusion of what is taking place in the city of Virginia Beach. Okay, our city charter clearly says Code 24.2-311, line item E, in the event of a conflict between the provisions of a decennial redistricting measure and the provisions of the charter of any locality, the provisions of the redistricting measure shall be deemed to override the charter provisions to the extent required to give effect to the redistricting plan. Now, what do I mean by decennial redistricting? Every 10 years, we must redistrict. We were fortunate enough to fall under the decennial redistricting plan, which gave us leverage, which gave the judge a stronger position to be in. So when you hear them say the charter is a formality at this point because it was done during the redistricting. In 2030, there will be another decennial redistricting. So I want to talk to that first. And what was your other question? What will happen with this? Okay. The judge still has the case. The federal judge still has the case. And if you ever hear John Moss will tell you, the federal judge supersedes every last court underneath the federal judge. His ruling supersedes all of that. So keep that in mind. But the biggest issue for us, go out there and just win it. Just win it. Overperform. Overperform in every single solitary district. Why is that important? Because you send them a second message. You've already sent them one in 1994 when you said the type of districts and system you wanted, the type of voting system you wanted, and they basically spit in the face of people, some of whom have passed away and never got a chance to have a fair and proven representative government. So your job is to vote on behalf of all of those people who never, ever, ever in the city of Virginia Beach had an opportunity to have a fair election system. So the illness is back on all of you to talk to everybody that you know, use the cards again, and let people know that this is the only legal, constitutional voting system. It is the only one. So don't let them fool you or tell you anything else. When they come at you, hold your card up. Everybody that can get a card tonight, please take this card with you and have the people to scan the card so you don't give all your cards away. Okay? If you're playing a game of cards, treat it like that. You don't want to give them all away, okay?
Thank you, George.
Any other questions?
Right now, are there any other questions? Right there.
Thanks. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So this is really a comment, and it's partially to address Mr. Johnson's question. And I think the reason why we don't hear more debate about this on, say, from some of our politicians and stuff like that is because of the money involved. It's expensive to get on television. That is where our local legacy media lets us down too, because they should be making a point of informing everybody legitimately what's going on here. But here's what we're doing. I'm a poll greeter. It's volunteer. You go out, you hand out the cards to give people the voting guide for the Democratic Party if you're there for that. And I'm also there to hand out 10-1 cards, the yes for 10-1. And I can tell you, we are changing votes at the poll. And if you want to change votes, be a poll greeter. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm glad you mentioned that, and I want to also mention one other thing. You mentioned Democrats. What we are doing is nonpartisan. There are people who are Democrats, independents, Tea Partiers. Everybody is on the team voting yes for 10-1. Yeah, there are some other folks, and most of them have the ability to put a cul-de-sac on Atlantic Avenue. That's what we're talking about. This is people against powerful folks with money. That's what this is all about. It's really that simple. And so, again, don't get caught up in the partisanship, Republican, Democrats, because you have people from all sides of this thing saying we need a legal voting system in Virginia Beach.
Okay. I'd like to recognize the councilman for this district, Councilman Worth Remick. Could you please stand up, sir? All right. Well said, well said. It does, okay. Now, are there any other questions or comments before I get the panelists their last shot? Any other questions or comment? Raise your hand.
Comment. It's easy to say follow the money, which we can do, and we see it follows you right to where you thought it was going to. It's easy to say that we see them desperately clinging to this consolidation of power that they've had over the city. But they do have an argument that's going around that sounds semi-logical. So if you encounter it, I want you to know it. And that is, if every representative comes from a different part of the city, then nobody's going to care about your part of the city. You're only going to have the one person. You're not going to have, seeking consensus and building alliances is part of the job of being a council person, of being a school board person. So if you hear that, all they're saying is that they're ready to elect people who aren't willing to do the job.
Exactly.
So Kempsville, if Kempsville goes to the oceanfront and tells the oceanfront what Kempsville needs, they're going to get it, right? So I just want you to be prepared for that argument, because it sounds like a sound argument. If you have everybody spread across in all these different areas, and how do they come together? And because it's the job. It's the job to come together for the sake of the city as a whole, and they need to get along with their fellow council people if we're going to get any work done in the city. It almost forces them to get along. Oh, we go this way?
I'm kind of new to this, and I keep hearing the sisters say this is the only one that's legal, but there's another one out there. So 731 is out there. So if it's illegal, that's where I'm lost, because if it's illegal, I don't see why it would be on the ballot. Or is there something that I'm missing? Well, I know there's something I'm missing. Help me out.
I can go ahead and take that one. When you have money and power, you can do what you want. It's just that simple. You can go ahead and propose a 5-5, whatever system you want to come up with. Originally, they had the 731 system. It was deemed to be illegal. Federal Judge Raymond Jackson made that ruling in Norfolk. You got money, you got $500,000, $600,000, You can buy and put signs up all over the place. It doesn't mean anything. There's no enforcement for lies on signs, unfortunately. Or, well, welcome to our country. Yeah, there is. There is, but the FEC is part of it. But we need to wrap up because I'm cutting into some people's dinner time. I'm going to take one more question.
Sorry, my baby's sleeping. But hi, everyone. My name is Kiara, and I'm probably this person here. I think this is a great information, a great town hall meeting, but I feel like my generation, we don't know a lot about the 10-1 and the 7-3-1. And I think we need more young people to vote. We need to spread it out, but it's kind of hard with the signs. I'm gonna be honest with you. We got bills, we got kids, we're not looking at the signs. We're scrolling our phones, we're at work. So we need a different way to get the word out. I definitely agree. It comes better from our relatives, people in our community, ourselves. I'm here because of my pastor and my church, and I believe in what he does. But other than that, I wouldn't have known. And I say that to say that we could reach a different platform, a different population in regards to social media or marketing, we could definitely do big things. And that's all I had to say.
We welcome you to join us. We welcome you to join us.
Listen very careful to that invitation because you're here right now. You've got the tools that we've given you. You've got cards. You've got Facebook. I assume you've got Facebook, okay? I put it on my Facebook to be here. Social media, thank you. All right.
Yes.
I'm going to give it to...
One quick...
Hold on 1 second, please. I'm going to let the school board member go.
Okay.
Hold on.
I'm Sharon Phelps, and I am your school board member for the city of Virginia Beach. I am your at-large member. I am the at-large member. We have a school board colleague that is this District 6. And I'd like to ask my Civic League president, has he been to your Civic League meetings? This is one reason why I ran. Yes. He did. This is how many times?
The school board member.
School board, not you.
No.
Okay.
Zero.
One of the reasons I ran for school board was because I felt that our community here was not being represented. I am your at-large member, and I love being your at-large member. That means I go to every school, every community, every civic league that invites me. And sometimes I am invited to some really rough and tough civic leagues, but I go because that's my passion. But I am your at-large member, but I just like to say the logistics of when we first did the drawing of the lines for this free civic duty voting, voting, when they first drew the lines, they drew the lines where it placed me, Rosemary, and at the time, another gentleman, I can't think of, in the same district. They redrew the lines at least 3 times. And the last time that they drew the lines, the first time they drew the line, they placed city council member in a district that they can run for the rest of their lives and never be moved. Absolutely.
I think I can speak to that, Sharon.
And what we are talking about now is doing it legally, because when they first did, and then when the city council did not like what they had done, they sent it back. I think Words and I fell in the same district one time when they drew it the second time. So they kept sending it back where some of them said, well, I like this line and I'm going to stay here. But your vote matters. The young lady over there spoke. Your vote really matters. And I am telling them what to do. It is one of the most privileged, most worthwhile, most valuable thing that you have. Never let anyone tell you that your vote does not matter. It does matter. I went over 60% of the voters in running at large. I don't know, could have been my personality, I don't know. Could have been that. But But I say that to say this, that I do represent all, and I just want to make sure I live in this community. I live here, but I am not the representative of this community. And I want you to know, do some pushback. And that means that you have to get out and vote for who you want. Even though they live up in the high echelon on the north end of the beach, that doesn't mean that you cannot, your vote doesn't matter. You keep doing it until you get the person in there that you need in there. When it comes to the school, we depend a lot on city council. We depend a lot on city council. We do not have the purse string like you think we have. We have three incomes. That's federal, state, local, and yeah. I like to say that most, at least 4 of those city council members that is on the city council now, that is including my representative, Mr. Worth, they are educational minded. So when you're voting, you got to think about all of these things, not just city, but who is going to represent our schools, who's going to support our students. Because every time the state, the federal send out a mandate, or the state send out a mandate, they say, you will do this. It's mandatory, and we don't have any funds for you. So you find the funds to support this. Right, Mr. Calhoun? You find the funds to support this. So you're wondering, why do we have old schools, 70 years old, and why are children not getting what the other students are getting? Why did that school, wherever they have this and ours don't have it? Don't have a budget, you don't have a plan. So be mindful when you're voting, remember all those things, education, city, all that matters, taxes, all of that matters. And please don't forget about the schools. We need your support. Thank you so much.
What is the best method of voting that the city can have to go ahead and do that?
10-1. I stand for the 10-1. That's the best method to get your representation.
All right, thank you very much.
A quick response to her statement. When the districts was drawn, I need you to keep in mind, we didn't draw the districts. The plaintiffs on the lawsuit did not draw the districts. There was a special master. At the time, the people that were on city council had been there for a minute. Am I correct? And so what they decided to do is protect city council seats, because city council is the governing body for the whole city. You are a governing body for the school system, not the whole city. So therefore, so there's no confusion when you guys walk out of here, the members of city council who were in place at the time worked to protect their districts. Now, it didn't work so well, because Worth was able to beat the guy that was on city council, and that's why they have all those signs all around the city right now, is because once the districts was drawn, we could now vote for the candidate of our choice, and the people in District 6 voted Worth and put Linwood Branch out of a job, and that's what he's angry about. And Worth, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Georgia. Thank you, everyone. That's the plaintiff in the
Councilman
suit.
Worth.
Yeah, by the way, I'm Worth Remick, member of City Council for District 6. I'm glad to be here tonight. I want to say 2 things. Number one, so how long has this been going on in our city? How many years? 7, 8? Too long. We need to finish this. We need to finish this once and for all. I'm tired of it, and I've hardly even started. So here's my point. 10-1, ladies and gentlemen, this is an advisory referendum. It's advising city council. Then we, with the results, will then petition or ask the General Assembly and the governor of Virginia to finish the deal and change our charter. That takes 2/3 of the House of Delegates, 2/3 of the state Senate, and a governor to sign it. And I'm here to say that if 10-1 wins in November, that will be signed by the General Assembly and the governor-elect. That's a prediction, that's not a representation. On the other side of this, like it or not, if you like 731, good for you, that's fine, this is democracy. 731, again, this is not telling you what's going to happen. 731 won't happen, though. How can it happen? It won't happen. Just like 10-1 didn't pass about a year ago because the governor vetoed the bill. So if we want to get this done, vote for 10-1, beside all the merits of the 10-1, just like Sharon said, I stand for 10-1, of course. When I saw the map, I said, I can win this district. And it was a very narrow path, but with some help with a lot of people in this room, thank you very much. It was a very narrow path. Had I looked at this map and said, I got to do this against this person citywide, even though I think I can do almost anything, it's a very daunting task for anyone. So that's when I stand. Number two, and almost as important as anything else, because I heard it say earlier, everyone is voting right now, each and every day, until Election Day. People are going to vote, casting the vote for governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and the House of Delegates. Kat Porterfield is over here in this District 99. She's on the ballot. So, and Cheryl Smith and right, Cheryl Smith, thank you. We're actually, right, we're on the border. So, but a lot of people, this is confusing to a lot of people, and I talk to people every day. They ask me, and they say this, that, and the other, and these are very educated people I'm talking with, and whatnot. They do not know. It's very confusing, and so I would ask each and every one of you not only to talk to other people, but to work a poll for an hour, half an hour, 2 hours. There's 108 polls across the city. The polls open at 6 o'clock in the morning and close at 7 o'clock at night. I'm here to say, Lisa, that I think this can turn on people working the polls, helping other people make a decision for 10-1, because there's a lot of signs out there. There's going to be a lot more. There's something in the newspaper. So that's it, those two things. Thank you, and God bless America.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. We have one person. Everybody else has had a rally. Do you have anything you'd like to close out with? Everybody, we've had ours.
I can keep this very brief. So it's been mentioned a few times, but it really is important for you guys to go have these conversations. Be that person at the grocery store that bugs people in line. Tell them about 10-1 and why it's important. Many elections in this district come down to dozens or hundreds of voters. It could be you that decides the fate of an election in this city because you decided to talk. And more importantly, one lesson that I have learned in the brief 27 years I've been alive is if you are fighting for something that you believe is good, you have to fight hard all the time because you only lose once, and then it's it. So if you find 10-1 is what represents you the most and you want it, go fight for it. Go talk to your neighbors. Go talk to your friends, your family members, and go out and vote. Thank you.
Georgia?
Mine is real simple, and many of you have heard this before. I got in this fight. Scripture says, whatever you put your mind to do, do it with all your might. And so I got in this fight because of the good work that this does for our city. The other reason why I got in this fight is the good trouble that John Lewis always talked about. Get out there and get in some good trouble. And then last is Reverend Vernon Johns, who came before Dr. King at Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. And he said, when you see a good fight, get in it. And I chose to get in this good fight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Georgia. We're going to have our fearless leader, Eddie C., go ahead and wrap things up. I do want to remind you that on Thursday, Eddie's got Thursday. Take a card, take an envelope, and if you take a sign, leave an envelope. Thanks very much. Thank you, sir. With something in it.
You know, I always hesitate to have to end this tonight because following these people is really hard to do. But I'm not going to keep you long. Just want to go over a few things with you. But the biggest thing is, and Ken Sutton said, vote yes on 10-1. And Georgia Allen said, vote yes on 10-1. And Riley Goldsmith said, vote yes on 10-1. And Eddie said, vote yes on 10-1. So we are happy to have you here tonight. And I want to acknowledge this church again, Rehoboth Baptist. I think Pastor Allen is here. Is that correct?
I'm up here.
We want to say thank you in a special way to Pastor Allen tonight. This church has been wonderful to me in many ways already. And I applaud the work that you do in this community as we wait for Pastor Allen to come. And, I'm hearing every day, and I was here for in Labor Day in this community, and I saw this church, and I'm like, I bet you anything that church is out here doing some good work and getting into some good trouble every day. And I was right. And so, Pastor Allen, thank you so much. Would you like to say a few words?
Come up front, take a picture. Did I comb my hair? Can I put this right here? I guess I'm going to hold this.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say this to all of my CTAC members. We need 10-1 to protect our community. We got people who are eyeballing every inch of CTAC Civic League for development, and they are doing everything they can to take your property and sell it. We got an apartment building down the street. The people down there living are people who are getting aid that is going to run out. We got people who are planning how they're going to have the gateway to the ocean front is going to look. I'm telling you, this is critical. When you run in a one district race, you can do so for $25,000. When you got to run across the city, you're talking about $150,000 to $200,000. You got people here who've run, they can tell you that. If you have a city council person, Gary and I went to a meeting with the guy talking about 731. He had the audacity to stand up there and say, how can I make a consensus out of all these people so I can get 3 votes to get my initiative on the ballot, on the agenda of the city council. And I looked at him, I told him, I said, sir, I pastor a church with 120 people every Sunday. I had to get 120 people to consent to anything I do. And you telling me you can't get 3? They need to elect somebody else in his district. Someone said it earlier today. If they cannot get consensus of 3 people to get something on the agenda, they have no business being a city council person. They are not qualified. We are tired of unqualified people who is willing to take money and stand up there and talk like puppets because the money man got his hand stuck up there. Thank you all so much for coming out.
Thank you, Pastor Allen. Also want to recognize tonight the Alpha Phi Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha. They've been in the back there doing a voter registration. Omega Psi Phi. And, I'm a Greek as well, and I really appreciate the Greeks and what they do for us out in the community. So I really I wanted to make it. Just take your attention there and say thanks at the end. Any of you that have voting questions, though, please stop by that table and take advantage of that while you're here. We do have another town hall coming up on October 2nd, Thursday night. And those of you that came in tonight, we hope you picked up this and that you share it with people in preparation for October 2nd. That's at Mount Bethel Baptist Church. On Indian River. Secondly, we just started a postcarding party, kind of, excuse me, I'm not talking very well today, I'm tired. But we are doing postcard parties. And last Sunday at Barnes & Noble in Town Center, we met for the first time, and we did 350 postcards just in a 2-hour time period with 5 people. It was really an awesome experience. So we're going to do the same thing again this Sunday, and I'll send out other times to you as well. But please stop by the table out there tonight and say, hey, I want to help with postcarding. And we'll get to you, I promise. I had 5 wonderful ladies there on Sunday, and it was such a great experience. And we did a lot of work as well. These are really good postcards, really get the message out in many different ways. So please, you know, we could talk about a lot of different things tonight. We have door hangers now. We've canvassed over almost 4,000 doors. And so we have door hangers now to push that experience forward a lot. Again, tell the person out front, those ladies, Pascal and Pat, who do a good job every week, that we want to help. And to the young lady that asked about the youth work, we need you. And so please, how best do we find out how you can help? Is to say, I want to help, just like that young lady said, and then you have a responsibility to stop by that desk out there and say, hey, I'm one of those people that wants to help. So please do that, and we will take advantage of it, I promise you. You will hear from me, and you will hear from me tonight by just being here. You know, last week I sent out 119 emails to people. You know, what does that say? It says that we, at the grassroots level, are pushing this to a level that says what? Vote yes on 10-1. And we're going to win this. And we're going to make it an example. Virginia's going to be an example anyway. We're going to make Virginia Beach the example to a nation that says at-large voting does not work. And so please, do what you need to do tonight. Stop by that table out there, and they're going to kill me for having all of you stop by at one time, but that's okay. We're ready for you. Thank you so much.
Y'all be safe going home. I want to thank Pastor Allen. You the man. You the man. And if you got any questions, I don't want to pick up any of my palm cards. Y'all take them with you.